now time for another story about sledding. Welcome everyone to another episode of Story Saturday. Last week I talked about an experience where I almost saw somebody splattered by a truck on a sled in front of me. If you want to check that out, click the link up here or the description down below. This week I'm going to share another story about sledding, and if you remember the past couple episodes I brought you guys up here. This is a Moses Scout reservation. We're doing another story here, and then that's it for a little while from up here. Anyways, not too far away from the two spots that I talked about previously was a parade field. This wasn't a field for parades. This was a giant open area that you would go camping in, and in the summer they would have different activities up there like archery and things of that nature. Anyways, in the winter they would have this thing called the Klondike Derby, and this was a series of events that different troops would participate in, and they would try to outperform one another in various Boy Scout related tasks such as sawing stuff down, making a fire, archery, climbing, all different Boy Scout related things. And you would just compete against other troops, and each troop, depending on how many people were in it, would be split into separate groups, and they would all be tallied up at the end. Whoever had the most points won this jamboree. Well, one of the events that was saved for the end of the Klondike Derby was a Klondike race. This was where we had sleds that you had to build before you even went up there, and you would do teams of, I think it was 6 people, 3 on each side, and they would wear kind of something around their waist like a rope to pull the sled, and somebody would be in the back pushing them. So this was a major point gatherer. Whoever won this race would get a lot of points, and that could really change whoever was in the top place, change the leaderboards, you know what I'm saying. So due to the small number of kids that were in our troop, we were only able to muster one sled together. You had to have somebody steering it in the back, you had to have somebody seated in the sled itself, and you had to have 6 people, I believe, pulling it. So the time for the race came, everybody was lined up, and due to the size of me, I just happened to be the first person in the chain of people that was pulling the sled. So there we go, we have 2 laps to go. We start making our way around the parade field, and I don't know if I took the corner too tight or the person that was pushing the sled hit a bump or a rock or something, but we managed to knock the sled over, knock somebody else's sled over. There was a big kerfuffle, however you want to call it, and everybody was racing to get back to their sled, and everybody was yelling at me, "Pat, just go, Pat, just go, Pat, just go." So I start running, everybody's trying to catch up to me. There I am pulling this sled, and somehow I didn't happen to see one of the kids on the other team that was face first in the snow laying down, and I ran him over with this giant heavy wooden sled. The kid was fine, he eventually got up, but yeah, that was actually somebody getting run over by a sled in front of me, or that I caused to get run over by a sled. It wasn't the same as last week where I saw somebody go in between the tires of a truck, because that would have been a lot more drastic if they had gotten injured from that, but it's just another story about sledding that I thought I would share with you guys. Anyways, folks, that's going to do it for Story Saturday. I have another Story Saturday coming up in honor of New Year's Eve being today, and it's about an incident with my truck and a rock. So if you want to check that out, it'll be up around 3:30 today. I'll see you guys later. If I don't, you enjoy your New Year's. Peace.